Hey guys, it's Skybird here, and today we're going to be taking a look at two things. First of all, right off the bat, we have a quick review for my build for the Elemental Lord of Ice for 2009. Before we get into that build though, or rather that review, I wanted to talk about something that's going on the forum that is a resource I think you guys will absolutely love. So for a while now, I've had a very major interest in Bionicle pieces, specifically variants of Bionicle pieces. And so when I go on Bricklink and stuff, it can be really hard to find, when something appears in this shade of this color, right? And so I decided to take it upon myself on the Discord server to actually create a forum, which I call the Official Part Variant Forum. What is that? Well, it's a forum that you can actually join, and you can submit your items to, your pieces that you are curious about, and what exactly is a part variant. So you guys may be familiar with this weapon right here. It is the Gresh sword that came out with the 2009 Gresh set, also appeared in the Baroness set with the Spigot build specifically. This one here is fairly standard, being a dark green and lime green blend. That's pretty normal, but there are some variations of this sword, including this one right here, where instead of having dark green, it has more of like a muted, even almost mata or standard green color to it. It's a really nice aesthetic. I like to use this one for my Spigot build personally to give it a little bit of variation and change it up a bit from my Gresh. But that is just one variant of this piece. Another one that I have seen but I don't currently have on me is where the sword is almost entirely dark green with just the tip of the edge and these little bulbs right here being lime green. So that is essentially what a variant is. It is a piece that appears in a color that it normally shouldn't, usually because something has been underfilled or overfilled. There's just too much representation of a color or not enough representation of a color. It can be parts that are short shot, so they don't have enough material in them, and it doesn't necessarily have to be dual colored either. It can also be pieces that are more transparent than they need to be, and so the discretion is kind of on you. If you submit something to it, the first thing I ask is just make sure you take a look through the form. There aren't that many items, and each one has a picture posted with it, so you can check out exactly what each item is, but that way you can take a look and see if the item has been posted already, and that way you're not, posting just duplicates, but you can always share your own variants, the things you're proud of, on the server elsewhere as well. This piece right here, for example, though it does not show up on camera, is actually more transparent than it's supposed to be. I plan on putting a light behind it, maybe like a Paraka eyepiece or something behind it, so that it will actually glow through the front there, because it looks super cool. This one, same thing, more transparent than it should be. That kind of shows up on camera too. You can see some of the details going on the inside of that one. Some other variants, and another really special one, in my personal opinion, one of my personal favorites, is the Takadox armor piece, which actually appears in 3 variations. This one here, the trans dark blue, trans medium blue, and trans light blue. And what's interesting is, since these appear in multiple sets, the Takadox set specifically only comes with this one, so I have seen, whereas the Nocturne set actually comes with either of these two, either the medium or the dark blue, and that is true for all of the pieces that appear in this blend in that set. So the head comes in the trans medium and the trans dark blue. I think the spines may as well, and this piece definitely does. And then the Tholox set, the Hydruka, comes with this one or this one, the medium or light blue. So that's always interesting, but it only comes with the shell. Nothing else in that set has this color blend. Really cool pieces, and it's fun to know that stuff, because when, say I want to build an ice character, but I want that glow-in-the-dark effect, well, this is a nice piece to go to because it has more of an icy type of color scheme. Or if I want the character to glow more, this one's going to glow a little bit better because there's just less dark color to get in the way of that glow, to obscure it, right? But if I want that darker glow, that more grungy aesthetic, then this might end up working better for me. From what I can tell, the Gadunka set, the head on that only appears in the trans dark blue from what I have seen, but it's possible that it shows up in others, and it is also possible that there's more crossover than what I have mentioned here. So there are plenty of others on the Discord server. As I mentioned, I'll show you just one more as a little bit of a teaser here with the Holly Inika foot piece in mostly white versus mostly blue. And there are plenty more where that came from. So again, check that out. That is going to be linked in the description on my Discord. Just look for the Parts Variant Forum. With that out of the way, let's go ahead and take a look at our monstrosity. the Great Elemental Lord of Ice for 2009. This is my take on this character, and my interpretation was that basically this character is a large brute, right? He's very strong, he's very aggressive, muscular type of character, and there are some images of these characters provided in the form of comic art, so although we don't have any like actual knowledge of what these characters would have looked like in set form, we can at the very least take a look at how they were drawn and sort of extrapolate from there. So although this helmet looks interesting on him, used for a head here, it is not the helmet that I would actually use, but rather I would go with a custom piece that has been designed by, I believe, Rothanak, that really captures the aesthetic from the comic books, and I would just modify it slightly for my own taste. But outside of that, this character carries over a ton of pieces, especially from later Bionicle specifically, because honestly, early Bionicle does not have a lot of ice-themed pieces. There are ice characters, of course, but I can't tell you any pieces that come from anywhere between like 2001 and like 2008 Bionicle that specifically scream, hey, this is an ice piece. Whereas 2009 gives us Strack with this glacial armor and that helmet with the icicle crystalline kind of effect on it. The Metis set and the Gelu set both give us this snowflake shield, which also comes in variants, by the way, so that's a fun one. But this one right here, which appears on this character, I believe 8 times, but I actually have 10 spots for it, so that's a lot. And even on the feet here as well. Gelu's mask also makes an appearance here on the foot, and Metis's helmet also on the sides of the torso. So it literally takes from like every single set, but it even goes further than that, including the icicle pieces from Hero Factory and even the Prydac foot, which I think has such an interesting shape for these legs, this sort of split effect with these glacial spikes coming up. It's a really smart use of those pieces, I think, building the bottom leg, the lower leg around those. So absolutely love the build for this. I may do an advanced build on this at some point in time, or I guess it wouldn't be an advanced build, but it'd be a longer form build video, because the build for this is actually really intricate, because the torso build is entirely custom from the ground up. So there are no Inika torsos or anything used in here. There's very few lift arms in here at all, maybe like 3. And so it's a very interesting build as it stands. Back end is a little less sightly just because of the way that these arms need to connect to really reinforce the shoulders, but it gives you plenty of movement, so I was willing to sacrifice the sight of it so that the arms could really move. And then of course I just went with a spear type weapon, because I see a lot of people use the crystalline swords, which I like, and I just don't have any on me, but also gives me, gives my own sort of interpretation on this character and what his weapon would be. So that's basically the entirety of that character, and I'll show you it sort of from the top here as well. But I absolutely love it. And in terms of colors, basically what you can see here, but white, then light bluish gray, the color that comes in the Thok set, and the trans light blue / trans medium blue, depending on the piece that's being used. So it works out super, super well. I love the build. You guys have probably seen it in the background of some of these videos, and maybe even seen a couple teasers for some other things coming up in some videos, but I digress. And yeah, so that's pretty much it for this build here. Just a quick review. I wanted to make sure I got that one for you guys, because I'm sure I've been kind of teasing it back there for a while, but lately it's been up in the corner just out of frame here. So but yeah, it was relevant to show that one because he actually has some variant pieces on him. And so for you guys to kind of follow along, like I said, variants are basically colors that are incorrect, short shots, colors that just take up too much percentage of the piece, more than normal, or too little percentage. So if I had a piece like this that was mostly lime or mostly dark green, that would be a variant, right? If I had a piece that just had a little teeny tiny speck of the second color in it, or was mostly the second color when it should be the primary, etc. Or there's just a Anyway, like I said, it's basically up to your discretion what you submit, and I will just approve whatever is new and whatever fits the criteria. And if it doesn't fit, then it can just go somewhere else on the server. No big deal there. So yeah, best of luck to all of you. Again, thank you very much for watching the video. Yeah, thank you for producing this video for me. And if you guys did enjoy this one, make sure to subscribe. And of course, check out the links in the description, as mentioned, Discord and Instagram down there. And I'll see you all in the next one. Take care.